Hi folks at Modelers. Today I'm going to be doing a completed build on this 3D metal puzzle from piececool. So I've done a review on this not too long ago, and actually this is just pure metal puzzle kit. So the kit that I have is the Enterprise CVN-65 and the difficulty level is 5 out of 7. So this is how the box looks like, and these are just some instructions how to build them. So for me to build this, it just took a couple of days because it's just pure assembly, no painting, putty, cleaning up. And the tools that I used were just these kind of tools. I used a file, a long nose plier, and actually this is a plastic cutter, but I don't know why it did work to cut. So I use this and just tweezers. So I think these are the only tools that you will need. And bit comment on the instructions. To me, some of these things were a little bit too small, very difficult to see how the bending goes. Wasn't clear for me. But after a while, I got the hang of it, and after that, I was okay with it because I don't really need to look at it. I know where to bend it. But of course, there were a few times where I made mistakes. The thing to note is that the parts actually have an engraved surface and the non-engraved, so that's something to take note. Otherwise, you'll be attaching the those parts that can be seen, the areas that can be seen without those textures. So another thing is to attach parts together. There are two ways to bend the tabs or to twist the tabs, and I found this bending the tabs was not really practical. The long nose plier actually can't really reach certain areas, so you have to actually end up bending with your fingers or with some other tools, and the bending does not attach it tight, so the parts are actually loose in some areas, and I had to super glue them. So this twisting is better locking method, but it's only for those areas that cannot be seen. So those are the things to take note. And for this parts identification, I didn't quite like the method of looking at the instruction, then looking at the parts to find it. It was actually quite troublesome, and this sheet is actually quite big. So I have to keep flipping it over for the sprue number C. So that was a bit pain, So let's just take a look at the ship that I have completed. So this is how the ship looks like. Okay. So this is from the top. The details, the engravings are nice on the deck. Looks quite realistic. But when it comes to those smaller things, like things on the sides here, I think it's just not so realistic compared to a plastic model. But this is just pure sheet metal, so you can't expect too much. So these antennas looks like that. So for the side here, this is actually in two pieces connected in the middle. And since this is not a plastic, you will see this kind of sharp edges, because this is actually the entire hull, because the rotors are here, but so there's no curve, you know. And this part here, yeah, this sheet is actually like sort of forced to come in and to put in all these tabs here to lock it. So I think that's the best the hull will look like. And the front piece is just one piece here, sort of curved and attached. And even these anchors are separate parts, bended, and all these things at the side here, at the back, these things, these are all separate metal sheets bended and placed in, like these kind of things, the side decks. So, and this will be the island. I think a lot of things were quite loose on the island, so I had to actually glue them up. And the top deck was, of course it didn't sit straight, so there's a lot of areas where I super glued them up, otherwise it will be like, you know, sort of floating. So you can see those some glue smears. I think here I put glue on the entire area here and clamped it shut so that it will stay there. So yeah, it's, you know, to attach it, I think some glue has to be used, even though they said no glue is required. And just one thing, I made quite a big mistake, which is since I'm a plastic modeler, I don't attach these like the entire island before I, you know, attach the deck on the hull. But I forgot that this is a metal puzzle and there is a tab that goes in there that has to be twisted or bent from underneath this deck. So I've attached the deck on the hull, so there's no way for me to bend the tab from anywhere unless I open back up this deck, which I didn't do it because there's too many tabs. So what I did was super glue the entire thing. So I hope it will hold. So on the deck here you can see these kind of tabs here that is actually holding the top piece and the bottom piece. So aesthetic wise, yeah, there are some, you know, things which cannot be avoided, and especially like down here, these are the tabs that was twisted and it just sticks out like that, you know, like this. But I guess it's unavoidable for this kind of puzzle. And also for this kit, there were these jet plane aircrafts given. But the thing is, I don't think I'm gonna put it on this ship because it looks just too unrealistic. And I can't even tell what is this jet fighter. It's probably supposed to be a F-14. But if you look at the wheels, yeah, even the front has to have 2 landing gears, otherwise it will not sit. So I just made 3 of them because there was 3 types of aircraft given, and the rest I did not make it. I don't know what is this. This is like an intruder maybe. It's really hard to tell. But of course, you know, for one piece of metal sheet to become an airplane is quite difficult. So, and the other one is this, and this I can recognize. I think this is a Corsair 2. Looking at the, there is an intake. But these jet planes just looks, yeah, not realistic at all. So, I have not, I just made 3 just to try it out, but I will not display them at all. So I'm just gonna leave these out and just display the ship. So my verdict for this this metal puzzle, it was quite fun. Can be built in, you know, a few days, but I don't think I'll be doing another one of these. This is probably my first and my last, because the realism to the model is not really there. So yeah, this is just a one-off. I wanted to try this because it did look interesting. It was cheap. So okay, so I guess that's all for my completed review this time. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got some tips out of it. So until the next time, happy modeling and cheers for now. Goodbye.